So I wake up this morning, come down and get some cream for my coffee, and I hear some water leaking. There's water all over my boiler, and we just got a little fountain pouring right here out of the pump. So, I mean, it's coming right out of the body, everything, dripping right here from the flange. So, before I swap that pump, I have extra gaskets. This one, I couldn't get back in to the pump last time when I moved it. I rotated the body, so it's a good chance that the gasket I put in, maybe I squished or crushed it or something and it's not keeping a good seal. But I couldn't get this one back in, which is what was there. I got this gasket, which probably will fit, and this gasket, which might fit. And I also have another pump. So, first thing first, I'm going to turn the power off. Boiler's off. Shut my feed off. Shut my return off. Shut my supply off. Isolated everything pretty much, and let's drain the boiler. Okay, boiler water is going to drop now. My pressure in my boiler is down to 0. Okay, I got 0 on my boiler, so there we go. Now let me just get this camera set up, and I'm going to pop this cartridge right out. I mean, I'm not even ready for problems to start failing it. I just moved it. I mean, it's not even wired in correctly yet. Right now it's in a junction box. So when the aquastat calls and energizes the pumps, it turns this main system pump on. And actually the boiler pump and the system pump, because that's my primary loop and that's my secondary loop. And my third pump is going to go here for my indirect. And I still have a zoning controller set up, so one thing at a time, but let's get started. Alright, so I don't even know if I'm going to take the electric off because I have enough play that I could take this and just lay it down in the water on top of my boiler here. So I could just lay it down right in this water here and let the pump just help evaporate that. So I don't even know if I should even take the electric off. I mean, it's unplugged, so I have plenty of slack on this wire. I mean, maybe I screwed up when I put the gasket in. I know the gasket was fighting me to stay into the spot, but it's been like 2 weeks for it to just give out all of a sudden. Let's see, I probably shouldn't have taken those out just yet. The last of whatever's in here come out. See, one thing I never understand, they sell replacement cartridges for this. It's like 75 bucks, 80 bucks for a cartridge, 90 bucks for the whole pump. What's the point of just getting a cartridge? Okay, well, the gasket looks like it has come out. And that is why, though, you do not install the electric part of the motor anywhere but up. You could do side, but you never do the bottom. I like to put them up always. So let me just get a rag, wipe this out a little. I think I'll be able to reseal this. I won't have to use the pump that was going onto the other side. Can I reseal it with this exact gasket? I don't know. So if I squished the gasket, there's a good chance I could have damaged it. But before I say that I can't, let's just see. It's got this little bump here. See if I can get it to sit in. That was my biggest problem last time, was it was fighting me to get in here. But even the original one does the same thing. So say I went with the original one. It was doing the same exact thing. It was giving me such a hard time to get in there. Just work it in, work it in, work it in. Not inside. Yeah, See, I can't even get the original to go back in, and this is where it was. I could swap the new pump's gasket in and out with no problem. But for whatever reason, same flange. But what came in the kit when I replaced the gasket for something else, I mean, this will fit, I think. Hey, look, that's gonna fit. What about this one too? That also, it looks like it's a little smaller though. But that's in there, and that could fit also. I'm wondering, you're only supposed to use an O-ring on this. This gasket looks a little beat up. I don't want to. I wish I can get the round gasket to stay in there, but for whatever reason I keep fighting with it. And I don't know if it's stretched. I don't have another one for here. Let's take this flat gasket that I have right here. Take very little, not much. Pro Dope. Just right in where that gasket goes. Okay, now take a piece of towel, and on the inside, make sure I wipe whatever's in there out. This gasket comes with a gasket replacement kit. Comes with a rounder O-ring like this and something like that. Now with that, I'm curious to see if that'll make the seal. So I don't see any damage on the faceplate. So I think it can. Let me get a screw in place, ready to go. Water's a little warm. That water didn't cool it off enough for me. But one thing you never want to do is ever put the electric on a motor down. At least on a motor like this. I'll show you the other pump I have on this system. It's a variable speed pump on this boiler. And that one actually wants the electric on the bottom. Okay, now crank this one tight. Bottom, crank. Hopefully this does it. If not, then I change the pump. Oh, come on, get in on that fastener. Why? Okay, the motor's in the way. One of the pop rivets that holds this in place broke. Okay, that should be tight enough. Tight. 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 Alright, well, now it's time to find out what's gonna happen. I was supposed to put a valve on that. Whatever, next time I drain it. I drain this thing all the time anyway, but I'm gonna put a ball valve in there so I could shut the tank off so I don't keep pressurizing the tank every time I do this. I mean, right now, I'm standing in a giant puddle of water. There we go. Spiral vent to let the air out. My leaking water over here. Let me get a paper towel. I see a little drip at the bottom. Not much, but I do see a drip. So I'll dry that up. That could be residual. Alright, we'll see if it comes back. My boiler is starting to get pressure in it. So we're filling up. They got to be straightened out a little, the gauge. I'm going to add 2 gauges on the top, one on the return, one on the supply, so I can monitor the pressure drops across my closed T system. I mean, so far, there's nothing coming out of the pump, no water, which is a good sign. There goes my air vent, my Spyro, letting out extra water. My rat nest is somewhat cleaned up, but when the zone panel's connected, I will get rid of all that wires that are a mess like that. I mean, that's Spyro. I love Spyro vents. That was a definite on here. I can't wait to finish this piping, but it's one thing after another. Constant, like, snowstorms. I'm cleaning up outside. But we don't have any water here, so once this thing stops hissing and letting the water out, I'll turn it back on. I still have all the valves right now isolated. Boiler's almost full. We're about 10 psi. Okay. Now it's opened all the way. I mean, I set up a primary purge over here. I'll go more over the boiler and everything once it's all done. I'm not going to open this yet until this thing stops hissing. I mean, yesterday I popped the switch box on upside down, but that's temporary. A lot of air still coming out of my boiler. No water yet. Alright, so far that gasket's holding. So, still got air coming out of the boiler. I'll probably drain the whole thing. Whatever. It's good for a nice flush and fill on a hot water system. Boom. I'm getting out any shavings from the steel pipe I did, any dope or anything like that. Like, I already cleaned this thing out. It was all friggin', it had a lot of goo from this, like, flux stuff. Here we go. Let's open this. Air going up. Okay. Got another air bubble in it. Alright, I like that. Alright, I'm standing in a friggin' puddle. I love it. I love it. Oh, my favorite thing in the world. This is really not how I want 6:38 a.m. to be. So, it is what it is. Let's open the return. Boom. Alright, supply return open, closed. I mean, I gotta still just pipe that in, pipe this to there. Then here's gonna come across. It's gotta get piped over to here. Hot water's on top, but all that's coming up. So let's see, let's energize the system. I'm wondering if it'll come back into flat, but you can see that it's been damaged right there, so I'll just order another one. But I was all ready to go. Brought the pump in. I mean, I could even do it right now. I could put the pump right here in the middle. But while it was empty, it would have been the time to do it. Now I gotta drain it again. There we go. My zone valves are opened. There goes some more air. Boiler's sparking. Hopefully I don't have water on my pilot right now. Still haven't replaced my ignition module. I mean, there's a lot of water that went down. Lit up. I mean, it may spark a little. I don't get any of that explosion stuff that I once had. I mean, this will work out any air in the system. This zone's going to come on, but this is a Wi-Fi stat. Everything else is Honeywell 6000s, and then I have a really cool old Mercury thermostat on this one. My wife wants me to get rid of it, and I told her no way. The thing's staying. It's going to be there. It'll outlast my life. Mercury thermostats are the way to go. I don't know whose bright idea was it to get rid of it, and here we go. Now he's energizing. He's heating up his little capacitor. That's the blinking, and then once the capacitor is heated, it goes green, and then the actuator slowly drives open. No banging, no slamming, opening shut like the Honeywell zone valves and the Eries, which is why I went with this style. I kind of underestimated the old Pro Press. I wish I didn't have a Pro Press one there, and I just sweated them all in. I could have kept them at the same height. But I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I got videos coming of the work and everything like that. It's like I redid all this. And this, I don't know why they want the motor on the bottom of my pump. Like right now, it's 43 watts it's using. 10 gallons per minute it's pumping. So, I mean, that's not bad. And this is going to modulate and change depending on the load. I mean, right now I got a big load. Small loads change. I got a cold boiler. And right now my boiler is about 100. About 12, 13 pounds of pressure. Right now my supply is just a little higher than my return pressure. I have a pump though on this side. I got to redo this line. I put this in here, but I kind of want to move it because the gauges here, I want to be able to see straight on. So I'm going to end up dropping over and then probably around or up and then down and in or something. I'll play with it. It's not important because right now I got to get ready for work. I'm fixed and I got to suck some water up. Oh well. But my pump is dry. No leaks. This is a successful repair. Until next time, I'm out.